boyfriend's reading room, and welcome to the second edition of my romance journey where I read through a single title romance book and tweet and vlog my way through it. So this book I actually have an arc of from NetGalley, and I'm also going to be discussing this book with Kelly at the Boobies and Newbies podcast. We're going to be recording in March, but I think the episode's going to come out in April. So what am I reading? I'm reading Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma, which releases March 15th of 2022. So this vlog might be coming to you a little early, but you can pre-order it now. Find the links down below. What do we have so far? We have Karina, and she is a hotshot lawyer, but she's got a dream job working for a company that she has a high amount of respect for what they do and the kind of business that they are. So they are a business that helps other women that are in the business world. So not the best pay, but she gets to have a job that she feels good about doing. It's her 30th birthday as well, and she's excited for familial birthday traditions, and she's really needed it. Unfortunately, Dad and Grandma forgot her birthday. They tried to cover a bit, but Karina knows better. And she also finds out that her father's going to be selling the house that was her mother's dream home, and that Karina's been the only one actually keeping up with the maintenance on the house. I imagine she did this on her dime because no one else seemed to care about the house. And so she's upset about that she wasn't even included in this, and her family really treats her like a child. Like, her opinions don't matter because she's single at 30, which all I really know about Indian culture is what I've seen from television and what I've read in books. So I am not an authority on it, but I have seen this dynamic before, and it just irritates me so much. But our lovely author here, I think, is intentionally riling us up, because is Karina riled up? Are we riled up? Oh yeah, we are. It all devolves into this agreement that she can have this money that her mother and father saved for a wedding or a house down payment. But the condition is she has to be engaged because younger sister's engaged, so it's embarrassing that older sister's not engaged, and traditional stuff that has no place in the modern world today. That's just my opinion there. I'm not trying to speak for anyone else. So Karina is going to find someone to marry before December so that she can stay in the house that she loves and that her mother loved. That's where we find ourselves now. I'm absolutely loving this book so far in chapter 1. And there was a perfect send-off at the end of it where her younger sister got her a birthday gift. Wouldn't be something appropriate for Dad and Grandma to see. And so Karina, I'll just leave it there. Go ahead and pre-order the book and you'll find out exactly how fun the end of chapter 1 was, at least in that moment. So we're gonna pull it together, we're gonna support Karina, and we're gonna hope that she finds true love before that house disappears. So I'm gonna go on to chapter 2 and I'll check in with you then. Good morning, everyone. I finished chapter 2 and I'm worried now because there was a brief blurb in chapter 2 about how an auntie busted in on our female main character's classroom to make sure the teacher knew how to pronounce her name correctly. So me, Mr. American White Guy over here, is pretty confident I'm mispronouncing Karina's name. If I totally flubbed it, correct me in the comments, I'll correct myself. So we got to meet Karina's friends, Vera and Bobby. I hope I'm pronouncing those ones right. If not, learning experience ahead, and it's okay. We're at a bar, a very kind of classic Indian-themed bar with old Bollywood posters on the wall. She really sets the scene. And so Karina and her friends are at a bar, and she's lamenting her situation, and they're trying to help her figure it out. They give her some advice that she doesn't quite want to follow, and that's to ask her aunts to set her up. And I know this is more of a thing in Indian culture, but the biggest thing I would worry about there is them trying to pick someone that they like instead of someone that the person that actually dating them would like. Well, there was an emergency and friends needed to depart, and Karina decides she's going to stay at the bar for one more drink and just go home. She's not going to try and have a one-night stand like her friends were advising her to do. That is until she spins in her stool and catches someone's eye. And that's where chapter 2 leaves us. We can hope that it's our male main character that she caught eyes with, but, a little extra drama never killed anyone in a romance book. So we will let the chips land where they may. And I'll go on to chapter 3 and I'll check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I'm back and I finished chapter 5. So there's, I think, like 36 chapters in this book, so I'm not going to be doing chapter by chapter again. So we left off with eyes connecting across the bar. Turned out it was our male main character that was in the bar, and he's got his own things going on. I can't go into it exactly, but he's hesitant to date as well, and so he hasn't involved himself with women in a while. But his friend noticed, the eye game going on and was like, just go for it. Just talk to her. Fast forward a bit, things are heating up. Things are heating up quite a bit. He gets a phone call. There's a big misunderstanding, and they both kind of immediately part ways. Karina, rightfully, feels hurt by this and makes some bad decisions involving alcohol after that. So we knew a few chapters ago that Karina was going to have to drive her sister to this television interview that she was going to do for a social media project, all of that. Who would you guess is the host of this television show? Needless to say, there is a confrontation. It's so dramatic. It's so fun. I was bouncing about the room at the end of a chapter with the conclusion of that incident. So now both Karina and Prem are regretting a lot of things and blaming each other for a lot of things that are more just misunderstanding, but we've got a whole book to work that out still. So Prem is having a guy's night, licking his wounds. His guy friends are teasing him, as they should. Bindu, Karina's sister, calls him randomly and is like, hey, come over to my house for chai. We'll talk about how we fix this mess. Because of course Bindu released this confrontation online and it went viral. So, great sister there. It's all going to play out for the best, I hope. So we're going to have another confrontation here. And, I don't know if Karina's going to be there at having chai at the house. So we'll have to see what happens. But this book has been so fun so far, and it's only getting better. I'm going to read a few more chapters and I'll check in with you then. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I finished chapter 7, and it seemed like a good time for a check-in. We left off with Karina and Prem hating each other. They are very upset about how they both feel like they were lied to about who this person was. And, maybe there's some validation there a little bit. I mean, they're both on the outs. Like, they're kind of internet famous now, and nobody seems to really like both of them. Well, Karina's sister, the one that live streamed the whole event, feels slightly responsible, but she's pulling some strings to try and fix the situation. Fixing the situation meant getting aunties involved, as well as grandma. Of course, there's the suggestion of a relationship of convenience for their image. Obviously, Karina has no interest in this. Prem's he's considering it because they're both in a very similar situation. They both need money for something that they really want, and they can't get it until they're engaged. What choice do they have? Well, Karina's not going to budge that easily. She's still going to work on getting engaged herself and not resort to this scheming that's happening here. She finds herself out on a date. Well, who shows up because family got involved but Prem? And I'm a little upset at this. And it's not really your place to try and go and block, for her when she doesn't need someone blocking at all. We have these times in romance books where we have these characters that just need to be awful. Let's just say one of those shows up, and now we have a medical emergency, and we're actually glad that Prem was there. That's where we find ourselves now. I'll go on for a few more chapters, and I'll let you know how things go. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 11. We ended on a really sweet moment between Karina and Bindu, her younger sister. Bindu was trying on some wedding dresses and gowns and things like that for her ceremony and her reception. Briefly got to meet her fiancé, which was great, but we had a very sentimental moment between the two sisters. They'd been kind of at each other throughout throughout the book so far, but they had a moment where they could bond in missing their mom and wishing that she were here for this big event coming up. Bindi did show that she does have some empathy for Karina and the idea that she might lose this house. She's not so heartless about it as we thought at the beginning of the book. We also had a fun moment where there was some, I don't want to call it healthy competition because I don't know if it was specifically healthy. It had to do with eating, but this was between Prem and Karina. It was a very fun scene, but I definitely need to try these snacks that they were talking about in here because it sounded so good, and I felt full just after reading the scene there. I do have to bring something up here. There's kind of this thing that's happening with Prem that there's still a lot of book left, and I'm going to give him some time, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but Prem's kind of had some very presumptuous opinions about this whole situation and presumptuous actions that he takes towards Karina. I'll admit it's been a bit difficult for me at times, but I'm going to leave it up to Karina. I know that she's the type of person that would definitely punch him in the face if things were bothering her that much. I'm going to leave it up to her, and I'm going to leave some room for Prem to maybe figure some things out as the book progresses here. That's where we find ourselves right now, so I'll go on for a few more chapters and I'll let you know how it goes. Hello everyone, I finished chapter 13 and I thought it was a good time for a check-in because we had some nice moments here in the last two chapters. In chapter 12, there was an actual date that happened and there was sort of a team building element in it. I can't give it all away, but it really gave Karina a chance to shine, got a chance to show Prem just, exactly how capable she is and everything. And he was very impressed by the end. He's still playing it up a little too much, trying to kind of force her into this whole plan that they have. He is starting to wonder in his head now. He's trying to logic himself out of all of this and everything, but he's medically, because he's a doctor, he's medically noticing some things that are associated with emotional love. Not this is a good thing. He's done for now. He just doesn't know it yet. And then one of Karina's uncles is having a birthday, and it's at their house, of course, because it's got the most space for everyone. A really fun thing that happened here is that Karina invited her friends Vera and Bobby over to try and keep some distance from Prem, because he got invited too, because aunties got involved, of course. Well, they got wind of that, so they just told Prem to bring his friends. Plan went right out the window, and we got some good foreshadowing for hopefully books to come here. I'm licking my lips, ready for them. But we're going to stay focused on this book here, so I'm going to read a few more chapters, and I'm going to check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 19, and I thought it was a good place to check in. So we've had some progress. Let's see, where did we leave off? We left off at the party, I believe, and Prem and Karina snuck off to it wasn't their intention to do things, but some things happened. I'll just leave it at that. Well, Prem is starting to have some feelings around in this area. It's obviously some kind of medical issue that he's having. I mean, he's a heart doctor. He knows these things. It's his profession. So he's going to have someone look at that because there's no chance that it could be love. He's beginning to get very possessive. And she is very much into him. But throughout this whole book, he's repeated over and over, I can't love you. I'm never going to love you. And so, of course, she's not going to bend over, give up, and be like, okay, we can get married or fake engaged. With the culture, it's going to leave her with a lot of baggage, and he can walk away just fine from it. So understandably, she's not going to just go with what he wants to do. Karina did go out on another date with someone from the dating sites, and I was a bit worried because it was very quickly implying that this guy was a tabletop gamer. And I thought that this character was just going to be the big butt of a joke. Karina was going to be so offended or weirded out or whatever, but we actually had quite a great time. The guy was actually really great. They go back to a friend's house of his to actually play Dungeons and Dragons, which It's fantastic. There's a bit of miscommunication though between, Karina lets her sister know that she's going to be somewhere she hasn't been before, just as, safety precautions and everything. Well, Bindu, I don't know if this was her intention or not, but she relayed that information to an interested party, and that whole situation got a little crazy, but it ended up with quite a magical event back at Prem's apartment. I'll stop there. We had a heartfelt moment for Karina in the last chapter, though, where she's feeling pressured to be the kind of the matriarch of the family because her mother's gone and younger sister's getting married, so the family just expects so much of her to do everything, help with this, help with that. I'm saying this from outside the culture, but that's not her job. Like, it's not her wedding. It's not her circus, not her monkey. And so it's unfair that they're piling on like this. Our heart's going out to her right now. It's where we find ourselves. So I'll go on and read a few more chapters, and I'll check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 22. These two still haven't figured it out. And it's, we're going to give them time. Going to give them time to figure it out. But they're getting up to so much stuff already. It's like, just admit it to each other already. And Karina's still going out on dates or trying to. She got set up, and I don't think I have anything to say on that. It was a horror show. Like, how does anyone think they can talk to anyone like that? Blew my mind there. Luckily, Prem was there to, as he said, kidnap her, which I found super adorable. And now things are getting quite domestic. And that is, if you know me, that is what I love about romance books. We'll have to see how far they take it before they figure things out. So I'll read a few more chapters and I'll check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 26, and I think these two might finally be figuring things out. They might be realizing what they mean to each other, might be actually internalizing and digesting that and really taking it to heart. Prem still can't bring himself to say it, but he's getting close. And he's doing everything he can to say it without saying it. That whole popular meme thing right now. One fun thing. Karina mentioned this author here, so I'm obviously going to have to read this book very soon now. I am worried, though, because there's still 10 chapters left in this book. There's a lot of room for them to screw things up, but like I said, I'm going to give them their space. I'm going to try and let them figure it out on their own, and we'll just have to see where they end up. So I'm going to read a few more chapters, and I'll check in with you later. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 30, and, we all hate dark moments, or we have our difficulty with them, but man, let me tell you what I can about this one. So, things kind of crumbled a bit. Emotions are high, people are confused, they're reacting the wrong way, and at, what we thought was the peak of the dark moment wasn't even close. Like, seriously, if life was a Monopoly game, Prem didn't just flip the board, he flipped the whole fucking table. It was so enjoyable. You're gonna have to check this one out, people. It was just priceless. Oh my goodness. That's a moment that's gonna stick with me forever. Oh man, it was so good. He let it all out, and there were no prisoners. Now he's gotta repair lots of stuff. So, Karina's got some stuff to repair too, but the man's got his work cut out for him. So I'll go on for a few more chapters, and I'll check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I have finished Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma, and it was such a satisfying ending. I was very worried about our male main character, Prem, for a while there, but he turned things around. He figured himself out. I won't tell you exactly how. He had the proper people in his life to straighten him out when he needed it. And isn't that our favorite part about romance books? Well, One of our favorite parts about romance books is the gentle prodding of the side characters, getting the main characters to figure their stuff out. The grovel had a really, really fun element to it, bringing it all just back around. Lovely, lovely adventure this was. And I am so excited for sequels to this. I hope there's sequels to this. There was a fair amount of foreshadowing with the side characters and whose book's going to be next. I don't know, but I'm ready for it. So that wraps up book number 2 in my romance journey. I'd like to thank Nisha Sharma for writing this delightful book. I'd like to thank Avon Books and HarperCollins for bringing it to the masses. This book comes out March 15th, 2022, so make sure to grab your copy. I'll have this vlog out a few days before that, so you can pre-order that. I'll have links down below, as well as all the places that you can find Nisha Sharma online. And I'd like to thank all of you for following along on my romance journey. Remember, it's your journey too. Have your own fun reading journeys, and I will see you in the next video.